Hey VC, it's John, and I'm gonna do maybe discuss 5 records. See if I get through this. In the background, we're listening to The Skull for those which are asleep, and it's the spin-off band from Trouble with Eric Wagner and Ron. Eric Wagner, the singer, Ron Holzner, the bass player, and the drummer. Who's Franklin? Who was the drummer? The drummer was Jeff Olson. That's the drummer. And it's the 2014. I just got this, a few months ago. They came to town with Saint Vitus. And there's the inner, and I don't even know what label this is on. TP Records. It's a really good record for the trouble sounding doom. It's the guitars are great. The whole doom, and they're just pros. They're pros of what they're doing, but not as good as Trouble because I just don't think the songs are there. I mean, the riffs are there, the mood, the doom is top notch, but there's no Assassin on here or any of their classics. But great mood record. Then I was going through like cassettes in the basement. I don't really have many cassettes anymore. I gave up cassettes years ago, but I was going through because I still have like demos and certain cassettes I kept. But there's some of the old mixtapes. But I was looking through and I found a mixtape of my wife's from when she was a kid. And on it is the Crumbsuckers, Life of Dreams, and the Beastie Boys. But what it was recorded over like an old metal comp. So figure those records, I think both those records are from 86 maybe. Licensed to Ill, and 85, 86, I can't remember. Crumbsuckers sound like 86 if I remember. So the cassette under here, I'm guessing is from 84 or 85, but it's hard to read. I don't know all the songs. I can't make out the first one because she wrote right over it, but someone made this comp, but it had Rock Till You Drop by Raven. There's a Shock Paris tune, Agent Steel. There's a Castle Black with the K, and I only scored that record last year or so, which is kind of glammy, but like mid-80s metal. But it's just obscurity. I can't even make out the next one. The other one's looks like Metal, Thrash, and Mad from Anthrax off the first record. A track from Black Lace. Maybe it's American Metal by Lizzie Borden. Was that off the EP? American, I can't remember. American Metal, maybe it's not American Metal, something metal. Then there's Metal something by, looks like Lee Aaron, and then there's Suck It and See from Grim Reaper, Chosen Ones, Megadeth, Days Gone By Antics, Burning in Hell, Possessed, Eyes of the Night, Jag Panzer, Hardy Hardy by Tease, Ace of Spades by Avatar, and At Dawn They Sleep by Slayer. So I was just, look, this is an artifact from the 80s, and it was whoever made that was a good mix. To have Antics, Castle Black, Shock Paris, they have a pretty deep collection to have that for 84, 85. But anyway, I'm just going to talk about a couple records. I'll start off with this. This is Avalanche, Pray for the Sinner, and jeez, I can't even remember. Let's see, where were they? Oh, Kansas City. Looks like they're from Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri. I don't know much about this band. I didn't look them up, but I've had this record in my collection for many, many years, and I always just kind of pass it by. I forget about it. And I pulled it out, and it's it's really good U.S. metal, and I'm sure it's still a cheap record. I doubt it's in much of demand, but there they are. And they remind me of an Exciter meets a Van Halen, but it doesn't sound anything like Van Halen, but it's got a little bit of a early heavy metal sound, the songwriting, almost a barroom meets heavy metal. but it's not bar rock or hard rock. It's total metal, really, really aggressive, and singing bass player. And the bass playing is really good. It's almost, I'm not like a guy who cares about musicianship, but I mean, if something sticks out like a Richie Blackmore, it's kind of fun. But it's, you got almost like a John Entwistle, Geezer Butler thing happening on here. Like, but it's really fun to hear it. Like, if you're a bass player, it's a cool record, not because it's so intricate, but just it's really grooving. But the songs are well written, and they got pretty good choruses, but it's really aggressive, total metal, like, but they still have almost a Kiss-ish, the way the choruses come in and stuff, but it's not commercial rock or anything. It's total US metal. But if you see this record, I'm not saying it's a 10-star record, but really good example of US metal. And it was a surprise, because I just never listened to it. And then, let's see what I'm doing. Okay. I got this Blitzkrieg record. This is Time of Changes. And I ordered this. Ordered this last year when it came out. I saw it on High Roller, and it said 30th anniversary. And Blitzkrieg, of course, is a new wave of British heavy metal band. Put out 145 and then one song on one of the British comps. And that's all they did. 3 songs. And then I think in around 85, they got back together and recorded the songs they never put out, or maybe re-recorded the single. But I never had that record. And that was, I mean, it wasn't regarded as a great record because it was like 85. They already passed their peak and everything. But I wanted it, and I said, 30th anniversary, I'll get the repro of it. And I got it. And as soon as you see the cover, it's just absolutely modern looking, and I don't like the cover. If you saw the original, it's kind of like this, but more of a pencil drawing, if I remember this. But I never heard that album. I mean, I know the songs. I got re-recordings from their old demos I have, and then there's some CDs, like 10, or some ones they put out in the 90s. Nothing great, but at least the 90s ones aren't so great. And then I got this record, and I said, what the hell's with the new cover? And then I look, and it was all recorded in 2015, so I was really bummed to get this record. And I'm like, I didn't want to pay, 20, or actually it was cheap. I think it was like $13.99. But either way, I didn't want any new records by Blitzkrieg. I put it away. I didn't even listen to it. Didn't even needle drop it. And I saw Greeno say it's a really good record. Check it out, or it's a decent record. And I put it on, and this record is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And I don't know, how they did this. I'm guessing, and I'm just making this up, but it almost sounds, I mean, it's really vintage tube sounding, like really warm, the whole, not just the guitars, but the whole recording. And I almost feel like they recorded this like in a bedroom or in a basement through a computer. And they had like, I don't know, the selections, like kind of like a rack mount with like pre-selected amp sounds, and it's got this real like tubey, doomy, not doomy, but it's got like this warm sound, kind of like these guitars, but in the Blitzkrieg's thing. And Brian Ross's singing's extraordinary, and the songs just kick ass, and it sounds like there's some sort of selection. It's like 70s doom rock sound, like you press the button, okay, we want to sound like Witchfinder General, and all of a sudden the album sounds like Witchfinder General. I don't know that's the case, but it almost sounds artificial, the way it sounds, so vintage and warm and vinyl-ish. But artificial, I mean, just because it sounds too good, I think it's artificial, but it doesn't mean it sounds fake, the record. It sounds so good. This would be almost a 10-star record. My only issue, and this is real nitpicky because it's a great record, is like the bass drum is up a little high, and I have to turn down the bass. But I couldn't believe the sound of this, and the songs are so good. Inferno's on here, the Ragnarok, the introduction, it's like this keyboard symphony kind of thing, and then it kicks into Inferno, which is like their classic. It goes into Blitzkrieg, Pull the Trigger. A lot of these songs you probably know. Hell to Pay, Take a Look Around, Time It Changes. Then there's an acoustic song at the end, which is really good. Jealous Love, because to go on about this record, it just sounds like a rock song done acoustically as opposed to like a ballad. But for some reason this album, I mean, it doesn't sound like them, but it reminds me of Witchfinder General. Just the mood it puts me in, except it's kicking ass like early Metallica or early Blitzkrieg. Obviously, Metallica sounded like them, but well, if you get this record for $13.99, I'm telling you, it's a good deal. And this was one of those records where I was truly surprised. I wrote it off, and if I had to listen at least side one anyway, at least 25 times. And my wife would be like, "Oh, you're playing that record again and again." It is really good. Another record I had for many years, and I dig it out every now and then, but this is a recommendation, because I think it's probably an undervalued record. I don't think it's that hard to find. It's Dead Engine from Ann Arbor, Michigan. And this is a perfect example of US metal. And it's like it's 85, so it's right at the right time. And these are the guys. They're great looking. And it's just exactly 1985 sounding. This is a perfect timepiece of US metal. And Detroit, I mean, it's Ann Arbor, but I'm making all this up in my mind, my pretend stories for these guys, but this is working class guys. I just think of Detroit, you think of cars, and there's the engine, Dead Engine, and I just sounds like working class metal, and I really dig it. And it's got it just looks real indie with the sheet in there, and then the handwritten logo, and even the label. It's on Pentagram Records, but even the label looks pretty good. But the interesting thing about this record, I mean, it's not interesting, but I noticed the guitar player. It's just one guitar player, Doug Horstman, and he plays just chords. There's no riffs. I think there's maybe 2 spots where he actually plays single strings and has a simple riff or something, but it's all just chords. So it's got that feel of like Livewire from Motley Crue. Like it's just, all the songs are just written in chords. So it's almost like Johnny Ramone style guitar, heavy metal chord progressions. But there's no riffs in it, and it's all just power chord and fast and sometimes hanging, but really good. And it's interesting that it's just chords going the whole time. It's just biting, dirty, working class metal. And the tune Rabid, I don't know if this is on YouTube, but like Dead Engine, look up the song Rabid. It's almost like a punk song, the way the chorus is. Not that they were influenced off punk, or to a punk rocker it's not going to sound punk, but to a metal guy it's got a real punkish sound. But if you could get this record for under $10, or I don't know what it goes for. I know they had another record after, and I think they were on a comp I have. They're on some sort of comp. I'd have to think about what they were on. It might even been a foreign comp, for somehow they made it on. But good record, like US metal, and it feels indie, like an indie release, but it's not really. It was Dust Each India Trading was the distribution. But it's a really good record. I mean, it's not going to blow your mind, but it's a really good example of metal. And same with this one. It's Anvil Bitch I got last year, which I always wanted, and I think I dropped like $30 on this record. But Anvil Bitch is like early thrash metal. This is 86, and it sounds a bit like Slayer's first record, not near as good, and then like Overkill kind of vocals, early Overkill, but not near as good as either of those bands, but still, it's early US thrash, heavy metal thrash, and the singer's a bit over the top at times, but it's a great record. A lot of people know this. I know some people have shown it, but you get a rare American mustache for 86. But I mean, they look like the guys from Exodus and Testament and Death Angel, you know. And let me, were they from Philadelphia? I almost want to say they were. For some reason, I was thinking they were a New Jersey band, but it looks like their booking information's out of Philadelphia. And it's got the inner, the one-sided inner. And it's a record I always wanted. It's on New Renaissance. Actually, I just, there's the inner. There's Anvil Bitch. And I guess any band that has the word anvil in it or bitch is probably pretty good, and I have both of them in there. And then this is another record I picked up last year. Frenzy. This is a new band from Spain, or fairly new if they're even still around. Where did I get it? Swords and Chains. I did it. Swords and Chains Records. Store Envy. Yeah, it was some sort of thing I had to sign up for, but I got it from this distribution thing. But the only reason I got this record is because Cloudy Mild had this on CD, and he sold it to me. And this is a band that wrote, it's an EP, it's 5 songs, and they're all about comic book characters like Spider-Man and Venom and stuff, but they're written, this is how he sold it to me, and this is why I bought it, and this is what I love about it. I'm not a big comic book guy. I could appreciate that, the geekness and collecting comics and that whole world, but it was never me. But this record just looks so cool, but they sing as if they're the character through the eyes. There's a song called Change to Green, and it's about like I'm the Hulk, and you know, I get angry and I change to green. But these lyrics, this whole production, like the lyrics are written like a comic book. Like these are the lyrics, and they go through the story of each guy. And it's Sin City Calls, and Sin City. There's Lethal Protector, which is Venom, and he's out to get Spider-Man. I hate that damn spider. I'll send him to hell. And there's Ride to Be Free, which is Ghost Rider, but it's like a. And in the band, even everything's written like a comic book. It's a 10-star product, the way they lay out and everything. And it sounds, it's 80s metal. The record, the way, I don't know, it just feels like a really good record. Like, you ever get a record like, Back in Black, or certain albums that just feel like everything is lined up right. It just piques my interest. But anyway, it sounds like classic 80s metal, a lot of guitar solos and stuff, but it sounds like maybe 80s Scorpions, but definitely like straight up metal. And if you want, like, suggestion would be listen to Change to Green by Frenzy. Give you a good idea. Just like this. Meanwhile, back at the Frenzy headquarters, I saw Peter Parker today. He's still asking whose side we're on. Oh man, he knows we're on the heavy metal side, and I just really like this. It's just a cool record. And then what was that? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that was my 5 records. The only other thing I wanted to show, non-metal, well, quasi-metal. This is from 81, France, and maybe people showed it, and I just totally missed it. I was cruising through YouTube looking at weird bands and stuff, and I saw this Soggy band from France. It's a video. Look up, this is your homework. Look up Soggy Waiting for the War. And it's 81, kind of like a heavy metal band, backing this guy with an afro, with no shirt on, tight jeans, doing a total Iggy Pop. Jumping around like a madman, doing this song called Waiting for the War, and it's very MC5 Stooges. And I guess this band's from France, and it was from 1981. They put out 145 with 47 chromosomes, and Waiting for the War was the A-side. And 2 songs, and this record's okay. The 2 songs off the single, fantastic. 1 or 2, Others are pretty good, very Stooges-esque, not that heavy metal. And a lot of it sounds demo-y and after that, but just for the two songs, I think it's like a $300 45, the original. But this came out only in 2016. I got this actually off Amazon because it's like a new release. And I'm not recommending it, but I recommend those two songs. But anyway, you look up for Waiting for the War by Soggy, and it looks like the guy was called into a reunion of the band The Shrine. It was like a nowadays metal band. But the guy comes out and performs with them, and he's got the same afro, except it's all gray, and he's still dancing around like a maniac. And it's well worth like 5 or 6 minutes of your time to see the original Waiting for the War, and then to see him in 2016, like crazy nut Frenchman, frontman. And, you know, it's a nice record. If you're into, it's 81, but if you're into like 70s rock, hard rock, proto-punk, you know, it's not heavy metal, but some of the guitar riffs are a little bit, but it's more Stooges. But anyway, that I just for a kick, in case someone didn't show it or no one knows about it, because I like a lot of that. Like MC5 is one of my favorite, and the Stooges, and there's a lot of bands, the Punks and Rubber City Red, like a lot of the proto-punk stuff, and Hammersmith Gorillas. But I didn't know about this band, and I'm surprised I got through 45 years without ever even hearing a reference to this band and stumbling on myself. And then like, oh, there's a reissue. All these people knew about it. The guy had a reunion. And so I was clueless on that. But anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about. France's untoppable Monsters of Mayhem. Put Motor City in your motorhead. Face-punching riffs, complete destruction. La-da-da. But the two songs are great anyway. Cheers. I'll see you later.